Oh my goodness, did you realize that almost 48 million Americans get sick every single year because of contaminated food? That's like the entire population of California and then some. And get this, over 3,000 people die from these illnesses. It's a truly shocking statistic that so many folks just don't think about, especially since the culprit often lurks right under our noses in our very own refrigerators. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, warns us that older adults are particularly vulnerable to foodborne illnesses due to their naturally weakening immune systems as they age. But here's where it gets really scary. That appliance we trust so much to keep our food safe, the good old fridge, might actually be silently turning perfectly good food into dangerous threats without us even knowing. You see, when certain foods are stored improperly in the refrigerator, they can undergo some truly nasty chemical and physical transformations. These changes can either rob them of their precious nutritional value, or even worse, make them downright hazardous to your health. We're talking about food poisoning, the rampant growth of harmful bacteria, and even the creation of compounds that scientists now link to some really serious diseases. Most people just don't give a second thought to what they toss in the fridge. After all, it feels like the safest spot in the whole kitchen, doesn't it? But trust me, it's not always the right one. That's why in this video, we're going to shine a spotlight on 9 everyday foods that you absolutely must think twice about before refrigerating. Some of these might completely surprise you, especially the very first one on our list, which could be secretly sabotaging your meals and your well-being. So please, stick with us until the very end. What you'll learn today could dramatically reduce your risk of getting a foodborne illness and potentially even save your life. Before we dive into this crucial information, please let us know in the comments section where in the world you're watching from. And hey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more vital tips to help you live stronger and safer, especially after you hit the big 6-0. Number 9, potatoes. The beloved staple that shockingly turns harmful in the fridge. Let's kick things off with one of the most common and yet most misunderstood ingredients in kitchens all across the nation, the humble potato. Most of us just automatically toss them straight into the refrigerator, thinking we're doing them a favor by preserving them. But in reality, storing raw potatoes in those chilly temperatures can trigger a truly alarming chemical transformation that makes them unsafe to eat. Here's the scary truth: when potatoes are exposed to cold temperatures, the starches inside them begin to convert into sugar at a much faster rate than they would at room temperature. Now, you might be thinking, so what? A little extra sugar isn't going to hurt anyone. But here's where it gets really concerning. When these sugar-loaded potatoes are cooked, especially at high heat like when you're roasting or frying them, they produce a dangerous compound called acrylamide. This substance has been linked to cancer in animal studies and is currently being investigated for its potential effects on human health. Beyond the terrifying chemical concerns, refrigeration also completely wrecks the texture of potatoes. Instead of staying firm and earthy, they often turn soft, grainy, or even mushy. If you've ever bitten into roasted potatoes that tasted strangely sweet or noticed they turned a rather unappetizing grayish color, that's a clear sign they were chilled before cooking. To keep your potatoes safe and packed with nutrients, they should be stored in a cool, dark, and dry place like a pantry or a cupboard, absolutely never in a cold and damp fridge. This will keep their flavor intact, their texture firm, and most importantly, protect your precious health. So, if you've been keeping a bag of spuds in the fridge, now is the time to rescue them and store them the right way. Number 8, bread. Why refrigerating it does way more harm than good. Bread is a comfort food for folks of all ages, but it's especially popular among our senior citizens who often rely on it for quick and easy meals and snacks. You might think that placing your loaf of bread in the fridge will help it last longer. But surprisingly, this well-intentioned habit actually does the exact opposite. The real culprit here is a scientific process known as retrogradation. In simple terms, when bread is exposed to cold temperatures, the starch molecules start to crystallize, and this causes the bread to lose its precious moisture incredibly rapidly. The horrifying result? Your once soft and fluffy slices turn stale and tough much faster in the fridge than they ever would at room temperature. And here's another truly disturbing issue: once the bread is removed from the fridge and exposed to warm air, that cycle of moisture loss and condensation creates a perfect breeding ground for mold growth. Mold spores absolutely thrive in damp, uneven temperatures, especially when you're reheating or toasting the bread. And while some molds might just be unpleasant to look at, others can release mycotoxins, dangerous substances that can cause serious health problems, particularly for older adults whose bodies can't fight them off as easily. So, what's the absolute best way to keep your bread fresh and safe? If you'll eat it within a few days, simply store it at room temperature in a sealed container or a traditional bread box. For longer storage, freezing is your best friend. Freezing completely stops mold and staling in their tracks without compromising the texture or taste. Just slice it before freezing so you can easily thaw out exactly what you need. The fridge, unfortunately, is the absolute worst place for your daily loaf. It speeds up spoilage and puts your health at serious risk. Number 7. Onions. Why the fridge ruthlessly ruins their flavor and dramatically increases health risks. This one often catches a lot of people completely off guard. Onions, especially whole, raw ones, are frequently stored in the fridge out of convenience. But doing so can lead to a whole host of truly unexpected problems. First, let's talk about their structure. Onions are naturally wrapped in a papery skin that acts as a shield, protecting them from moisture and keeping them nice and crisp. When stored in the cold, humid environment of a refrigerator, this natural defense breaks down. The onion starts greedily absorbing excess moisture from the air, especially once it's been cut. The disgusting result is a soggy, rubbery texture, an absolutely unpleasant smell, and a dramatically shortened shelf life. Mold can start growing rapidly in those moist layers, sometimes even before you even notice it. But that's not all. Onions are incredibly aromatic, and their strong odor can easily seep into other foods stored nearby. Eggs, butter, and dairy products can absorb that pungent onion smell and taste, completely affecting the flavor of everything else in your fridge. That strong onion aroma might be fantastic in a stir-fry, but definitely not in your morning yogurt. The absolute best place to store whole onions is in a well-ventilated basket or a mesh bag in a cool, dry, and dark spot in your kitchen, far away from the dreaded fridge. Once an onion is peeled or sliced, it should be sealed tightly in an airtight container and used within just a few days. But even then, it's still better stored in a cool pantry or used fresh as soon as possible. Keeping onions out of the fridge helps them stay crisp, flavorful, and mold-free, while also preventing their powerful scent from invading the rest of your precious groceries. Number 6. Tomatoes. The cold, hard truth about this tragically misunderstood fruit. Tomatoes are a staple in so many kitchens, and they're often seen as a healthy, go-to ingredient for salads, sauces, and sandwiches. But here's something that many people just don't know: storing tomatoes in the refrigerator can actually ruin them, both in terms of their delightful taste and their valuable nutrition. You see, tomatoes are tropical fruits by nature, which means they absolutely thrive in warm environments. When placed in the cold, unforgiving environment of a refrigerator, their internal chemistry begins to change in a truly detrimental way. The ripening process, which is absolutely essential for developing that rich, sweet, and tangy flavor that makes tomatoes so incredibly enjoyable, comes to a screeching halt. That's because the natural enzymes responsible for creating their signature flavor simply stop working properly in low temperatures. As a result, instead of savoring a juicy, flavorful tomato, you'll end up biting into something bland, watery, and mushy. The once vibrant fruit loses its firmness, and the inside turns soft and rubbery. Even its precious nutrients begin to degrade. Tomatoes are a fantastic source of vitamin C, an essential nutrient for keeping your immune system strong. But cold storage actually accelerates the breakdown of this vital vitamin, meaning you're getting less and less health benefit with every single bite. And let's not forget the visual aspect. Tomatoes stored in the fridge start to wrinkle and shrivel, giving them an aged, lifeless appearance, even if they're technically still edible. If you've ever cut into a tomato and found it lacking in flavor, moisture, or that beautiful vibrant color, refrigeration was very likely to blame. So, what's the absolute best way to keep your tomatoes fresh and packed with nutrients? Store them at room temperature, away from direct sunlight, and with the stems side down to help preserve their precious juices. If they happen to become overripe, consider cooking them into a delicious sauce or stew immediately. Whatever you do, please, don't refrigerate them. It's one of the fastest ways to strip away everything that makes a tomato worth eating. Number 5. Garlic. From superfood to a hidden hazard when chilled. Garlic has long been celebrated as a medicinal powerhouse. Rich in powerful sulfur-based compounds like allicin, it's renowned for its incredible immune-boosting, antibacterial, and even heart protective properties. But storing garlic the wrong way can erase all those amazing benefits and may even pose some serious health risks. Most people don't even think twice before tossing a bulb of garlic into the fridge. But that, my friends, is a big mistake. Garlic is naturally built to last for weeks, sometimes even months, when kept in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place like a pantry. The moment you move it to a colder, more humid environment like the fridge, that natural preservation breaks down. Refrigerated garlic tends to sprout prematurely. And while those little green shoots might look harmless, they're actually a sign that the garlic is deteriorating from the inside out. The flavor becomes bitter, the texture turns rubbery, and worst of all, those precious medicinal compounds like allicin begin to fade away. What you're left with is garlic that's not only less effective but also potentially less safe. And here's the most alarming part: minced garlic stored in oil and kept in the fridge can become a breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, the terrifying bacteria that causes botulism, a rare but extremely dangerous illness that can lead to muscle paralysis and even death. The FDA has issued serious warnings about this very issue. Yet, many people unknowingly prepare and store garlic this way. To avoid these frightening risks, always store whole bulbs in a dry pantry, away from sunlight. If you need to chop garlic ahead of time, store it in a sealed glass jar and submerge it in vinegar or lemon juice, definitely not oil. That acidic environment helps to prevent bacterial growth. And most importantly, please, don't put garlic in the fridge unless it's already cooked. Keeping garlic safe is as simple as storing it right. Number 4. Coffee. Why the fridge relentlessly ruins your favorite brew. You might not think of coffee as a food, but it absolutely deserves a spot on this list. Whether you enjoy a warm cup first thing in the morning or sip it throughout the day, how you store your precious coffee beans or grounds can make a huge difference in both its delightful flavor and its safety. Coffee is incredibly sensitive to its environment. It's hygroscopic, meaning it readily absorbs moisture and odors from the air around it, almost like a sponge. When you place your coffee in the fridge, it becomes surrounded by all sorts of things, fruits, vegetables, and leftovers, each releasing their own unique aromas and moisture. Over time, your beans or grounds start soaking up all those strange scents and flavors, leading to a brew that tastes well, strange, bitter, or just plain flat. But it's not just about the taste. The real danger lurks in the moisture. Every single time you open and close that refrigerator door, the temperature fluctuates, and condensation forms. This unwanted moisture clings to the surface of your coffee beans or grounds, causing them to clump together, age prematurely, and sadly lose those delicate oils that give coffee its signature aroma and incredible health benefits, like chlorogenic acid, a powerful antioxidant that supports both brain and heart health. Even worse, if coffee grounds are stored in a non-airtight container, that damp environment can lead to the horrifying growth of mold, a serious concern, especially for older adults with weakened immune systems. So, if your daily cup has been tasting a little off lately, your fridge might just be the culprit. The absolute best way to keep your coffee fresh is to store it at room temperature in an airtight, opaque container. Place it in a dark cabinet, far away from heat and light. Avoid the freezer too, unless you're storing beans long-term and sealing them incredibly well. Your taste buds and your health will absolutely thank you. Number 3. Honey. The sweet mistake that ruins a natural superfood. Honey is one of the truly amazing foods on earth that never spoils on its own. Thanks to its natural acidity and incredibly low moisture content, honey can last indefinitely when stored properly. But the refrigerator? That's quite possibly the worst place you could ever put it. When exposed to cold temperatures, honey undergoes a process called crystallization. It becomes grainy, thick, and nearly impossible to pour or spread. Many people mistakenly assume that crystallized honey has gone bad, but in reality, it's simply been stored incorrectly. Still, this change in texture makes it much less enjoyable and far harder to use in your favorite recipes. But texture isn't the only problem. As honey crystallizes and hardens, it traps tiny air pockets inside the jar. Every time the jar is opened and closed, moisture from the surrounding air sneaks into the container. Over time, that unwanted moisture can lead to fermentation, giving the honey a sour smell or taste and potentially allowing microbial growth, something honey is usually completely immune to under the right conditions. Even worse, refrigeration can actually slow down the natural enzymes in honey, like glucose oxidase, which are responsible for its incredible antibacterial and healing properties. That means you're losing some of the very compounds that make honey such a health-boosting sweetener. So, where should you store your precious honey? In a tightly sealed container, kept at room temperature in a dark cupboard. If it does happen to crystallize over time, simply place the jar in a bowl of warm, not hot, water and stir it gently until it returns to its natural smoothness. Keep the cold away from your honey, and it will reward you with incredible flavor, potent nutrition, and a shelf life that can last for years to come. Number 2. Bananas. The tropical fruit that tragically loses its magic in the fridge. Bananas are beloved all around the globe, and for very good reason. They're soft, naturally sweet, packed with vital potassium, and incredibly easy on the digestive system, making them a favorite among our senior citizens who need quick energy and gentle nourishment. But here's a mistake that so many people make without even realizing it. Storing bananas in the refrigerator is one of the fastest ways to completely ruin everything that makes this fruit so incredibly beneficial. Why? Because bananas are tropical by nature. Their internal enzymes are specifically designed to function in warm climates. When you place bananas in a cold environment, especially before they've fully ripened, the cold actually halts the ripening process altogether. This means your bananas may remain hard and underdeveloped, never achieving that wonderfully rich, sweet flavor you're used to. Instead of ripening slowly and evenly, they turn unpleasantly bland, and their beautiful yellow skin darkens quickly to an unappetizing grayish-black color. That discoloration isn't just cosmetic. It's a clear signal that the cold has damaged the cellular structure of the fruit. And inside, things get even worse. Chilling causes the banana's flesh to turn mushy in some spots while remaining stubbornly firm in others. Even more concerning, the cold can actually destroy natural antioxidants like dopamine and catechins, compounds known to support healthy brain function and reduce oxidative stress, two areas of critical importance for older adults. Most people don't even realize they're throwing out these brain-boosting benefits every single time they put bananas in the fridge. And if the banana is already very ripe when it enters the refrigerator, it creates the perfect storm. Trapped moisture within the peel, especially near the stem, becomes a breeding ground for mold. This not only drastically shortens the lifespan of the fruit but also significantly increases the risk of ingesting harmful mold spores, which can irritate your respiratory system and digestive tract. So, what should you do instead? Keep your bananas at room temperature, ideally in a fruit bowl or hanging from a banana hook so that air can circulate freely around them. If they start to over-ripen and you can't eat them fast enough, simply peel them and freeze them in an airtight container for later use in smoothies or baking. Just please, don't refrigerate them if you want to preserve their precious nutrients, delightful texture, and wonderful flavor. Number 1. Olive oil. The heart-healthy essential that terrifyingly turns harmful when chilled. Olive oil is often hailed as one of the healthiest fats you can possibly consume. It's a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, praised for its rich content of monounsaturated fats, powerful antioxidants, and potent anti-inflammatory compounds. For many senior citizens, a simple drizzle of olive oil over a salad or some steamed vegetables is a vital part of their daily routine to support a healthy heart and sharp brain function. But despite its many incredible virtues, olive oil becomes a potential health hazard when stored in the refrigerator. When chilled, olive oil goes through a process called solidification, where the naturally occurring fatty acids begin to crystallize. This causes the oil to become cloudy and partially solid. While this change might seem harmless on the surface, the real danger begins with repeated temperature fluctuations. Every single time the oil is removed from the cold and brought back to room temperature, its delicate chemical structure is put under stress. This can dramatically accelerate oxidation, a damaging reaction that generates harmful free radicals, unstable molecules that promote inflammation and cellular damage throughout your body. Over time, these oxidative changes degrade the very beneficial compounds that make olive oil such a superfood in the first place. Those amazing antioxidants, like polyphenols and vitamin E, are broken down, leaving behind an oil that no longer offers the same incredible heart protective benefits. In fact, if abused by improper storage, olive oil can actually begin contributing to the very problems it's meant to prevent, like painful joint inflammation and uncomfortable digestive discomfort, both of which are already common concerns for older adults. Refrigeration also severely affects the usability of the oil. Once solidified, it becomes incredibly difficult to pour, significantly increasing the chances of messy spills or accidentally using way too much, which means excess calories and unwanted fat, something many seniors are diligently trying to monitor. And on top of all that, the flavor suffers terribly. The crisp, peppery, fruity notes of high-quality olive oil completely fade when subjected to cold and then reheated, dulling the entire experience of every single meal it touches. To protect both the wonderful taste and the incredible health benefits of your olive oil, always store it in a dark glass bottle or metal container, away from direct light and heat sources like your stove. A cool cabinet or pantry is absolutely ideal. When stored properly, good quality olive oil can stay fresh for up to 18 to 24 months and remain one of the very best tools in your kitchen for healthy aging. So there you have it. 9 everyday foods that you should absolutely never put in the refrigerator, especially if you are focused on maintaining your health and well-being as you gracefully age. The refrigerator, while undeniably useful, isn't always the safest place for every single ingredient. Here's a quick reminder of what we've learned and what you can start doing today. Keep bananas, tomatoes, and onions far away from the fridge to preserve their delicious flavor and vital nutrition. Store potatoes and garlic in a cool, dry, and dark location, definitely not in a cold and moist fridge. Leave your bread at room temperature for short-term use and freeze any extra that you won't eat within a few days. Place your precious coffee in a sealed, opaque container in a dark cupboard, making sure it's nowhere near moisture or light. Keep your honey in your pantry to preserve its natural enzymes and powerful antibacterial strength. And most importantly, please, never refrigerate your olive oil. Protect its valuable antioxidants and wonderful flavor by storing it in a cool, dark space. These seemingly small adjustments in how you store your food can go a very long way in preserving both your health and the overall quality of your meals. As we get older, every single bite truly counts, so let's make absolutely sure those bites are as safe, nutritious, and delicious as they possibly can be. Now, it's your turn. Were you surprised by any of the foods on this list? Have you been storing them in the fridge without even realizing the potential risks? Please share your experiences with us in the comments section below, and let us know what changes you'll be making starting today. And if you found this video incredibly helpful, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more practical health tips that will support your vibrant life after 60. Thanks so much for watching, and always remember, healthy choices begin right in your very own kitchen. Valuable lesson: the refrigerator, while a vital appliance for food safety, is not a universal storage solution. Understanding the specific needs of different foods can significantly impact their nutritional value, flavor, and even safety. Storing certain items at room temperature in cool, dark, and dry places can often be the better choice for preserving their quality and protecting your health. Please leave a comment below and let us know what you think. On a scale of 1 to 10, how informative did you find this video? And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful tips.